All right, now I get it. We're going to eventually get the beginning of the show right with the credits.
We've only done 45 shows.
But we haven't done it with the credits.
Yeah, the new credits are new. Are the new credits too scary? It's just something, what?
I think we have to turn the volume. We have to ask Jack to turn the volume down a little bit. It's a little like, especially.
It's Renee Lee Goldsberry belting a D, and I thought it was exciting, but also maybe terrifying. So anyway, we may gentle it up.
That's right.
Oh, we're on the wrong sides again. I don't know what sometimes happens. Oh no, we're on the right sides. Oh, right, James Seth.
Everything is reversed.
It's
with
so
the whole
weird.
Laptop. We're using my mom's HD camera that we've plunked onto the top.
HD is not a good idea when you're older than Sky. By the way, just turned 18. I gotta be honest.
I'm James Wesley. This is my husband, Seth Rudetsky. Welcome to Stars in the House, a twice daily online chat filled with laughter and education and music, and that's all for the Actors Fund.
Well, it's all for the Actors Fund, meaning you could just come here and just watch.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Also, you could be donating at Stars in the House in the bottom, and the money goes to the Actors Fund. And a lot of people don't know why it's called the Actors Fund, because it's not just for actors. It is for anybody in the arts, on stage, backstage, in front of the camera, back of the camera. And nobody's
all across the country.
Yeah, all across the country. The smallest little theaters. If you're a professional in the arts, you can get help. And right now, they're doling out so much money to help people pay their rent, pay their medical bills, because nobody is working. And most artists live like month to month.
And I know we have a lot of new viewers today because of fans of Jessie. And I know that our kid, who's 19, who's going to be coming on a little bit to ask some questions, that there's a whole new cast, a whole new viewership.
Yeah.
Jessie, right? Especially with Disney Plus.
And especially for young people that have no money, $5, literally giving $5 could completely help. So if everybody gave $5 that's watching right now, we'd have a lot of money for the Actors Fund.
But my point is too, of just like wherever you live, there are professional performing arts organizations there. Maybe a children's theater that you've gone to, or a symphony, or basically that's what the Actors Fund does.
A dancing school.
That's right, dancing school. All those teachers that all depend upon the performing arts. Most of them are out of work right now. And so the Actors Fund helps them pay for their rent if they need help with their rent, or food, or their utility bills, those sorts of things. So that when all this will be over, and this will come to an end. Normally we have this gentleman named Dr. John LaPook, who's the chief medical correspondent for CBS. And he says that there's going to be a beginning, middle, and end to this. And so there will be an end to this. And that's one of the reasons why we do this show.
Because when it's over, we want the arts to survive.
Yes.
So all the money you're giving right now is letting the arts survive after everything ends.
Absolutely.
So I know it feels endless, especially when you're a young kid. Like one day feels like a million days, but like it is going to be over. So don't freak out right now and kind of enjoy stuff like this.
And that's what I was going to say is one of the reasons why we do the show. And I call it like comfort TV because we're all mainly home and we watch TV. And I know that Jessie is one of those big shows that people watch or can definitely binge watch now, along with everything else. And it's kind of fun and comforting to see people that we know and we love from TV, to see them in this sort of environment.
Yeah, we started watching the show when we were like 15 years old, and now it's been like 5 years. Now we're in our 20s. It's so cool to see everybody again.
I think that Julie was 11. But we were older than that, and that's why
I want to talk about
glasses right now because of. So to remind everyone to share when I'm going to get up the donation.
So everyone that's watching right now, can you do me a favor? Copy the address and just share on your Twitter and Facebook. If you young people, I don't know what you guys have now, share on your whatever is cool, but share it. That way more people are watching, and there's more chance for people donating. So it's starsinthehouse.com, wherever you're watching, share wherever you are so everybody can be watching and donating.
That's right. So these are some big donations. These are actually what came in last night. And like
the end of what came in last night.
That's right. Like Seth said, it doesn't have to be a lot of, if you're able to give, great. And if you can't, just enjoy the show. That's okay too. But for those who are going to give during the show, when I get the donations from the Actors Fund, I'm going to send them to Kevin Chamberlain. And he may read them, or maybe he'll send them to some of the other cast members that are going to join with us. So you never know who's going to say your name.
Yes, Bertram might say your name.
That's
Who
right.
knows?
Maybe someone else. So we want to thank, real quick, Kimberly from New York, who gave $100. Sally from North Carolina, $50. Abigail from Pennsylvania gave $25. Lynn from California last night gave $40. Howard from Michigan gave $25. Jennifer from California, $25. Christine from Massachusetts, $25. Maya from Tennessee, $25. Teresa from New York, $25, and Carrie from New York, $100.
Thank
we
you.
want to thank them very much. And that is for a grand total we've raised with all of your help who've watched, and for the artists, over $175,000 for the Actors Fund.
Yay.
We want to thank you very much. So, Seth, I say we get started and bring on. You mean to be bringing on while you're going to be playing?
I'm just going to
We haven't even practiced.
Hey, Jessie. Okay, here they come. Hey, Bertram. Kevin Chamberlain, who made this all possible. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, everybody.
And then, of course, right next to you on my screen is the lovely Peyton List. Hi. And then I just practiced saying his name. I don't know why it threw me, but Karen, hey, Karen. What up?
Hey guys.
Going down further. And then she just turned 18. Work. I want some money. Here's Sky Jackson. What's up? And then finally herself. Hey, Jessie. Please welcome Jessie herself, Debbie Ryan.
Hi.
So I just realized that I didn't sound check with any of you guys.
Yeah.
This platform that we're on, basically, if anyone talks at the same time, all the sound cuts out. So when someone's talking, you can't go, oh my God, I totally know. Because then everything will stop. So you have to sort of listen, nod politely, inhale, and then speak. So just so you know, exactly. Very good. You do follow directions. Okay, do we like this look or do we like this look? Hold on. Oh, I like that better.
I like this one.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So, Seth, you want to, Kevin sent this beautiful video. I say we start with that. Kevin, do you want to set it up?
The beautiful video, the musical video you sent?
Oh, sure. So this was just for our musical theater people out there. I wrote this song for an episode that we were doing sort of a takeoff on the Fantastics. It was called The Terrifics. And it also was integrated into the gag reel for our final season. And it shows everyone when they were young and then once we wrapped. So it's a lovely introduction to everybody.
Okay, here we go. So lovely.
I want to be foolish.
I want to explore.
I wish I knew less.
And I wish I knew more.
The wonder of childhood.
The wisdom of age.
They tell me be patient, you're just at that stage. The colors are fading.
The colors are bold.
My hair has gone silver.
But your heart's made of gold.
You don't have to always believe what you're told. The trick is to grow up without growing old.
The trick is to grow
up without growing old.
Ah.
Oh.
Debbie, what does that make you feel watching that?
Crying feelings. Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool this year to sort of see everyone and touch base and connect. And some of you guys, like, we went here and got food and got coffee over the years, or stayed in touch or texted. And some of you guys I've seen more and less, but it doesn't, it sort of all zooms into a thing where you don't realize it's been like 8 years or something. It's been like a very, very long amount of time. And I'm 26 right now, and I was 18, I think, when we started developing the show, 17 maybe when we started developing the show. So almost a decade, and you guys are adults. Like, Sky, you just turned 18. Like, you guys are adults. You guys are grown up. And like that, you know, we were all just so young and figuring it out together, and it was really, really meaningful. And like Kev just sort of swept us under his wing and taught us so much. And I don't know, it's really cool. I think you guys have grown into such cool and smart and kind people, but all of that was always there. So it's interesting and really like compelling and heartwarming to see how that evolved.
Ooh, someone's gonna turn off those notifications. Debbie, I love that. And of course, you know, everyone is missing Cameron, and I'd love to start with that. We have Kenny Frederick, we just have a comment. What is your favorite memory of Cameron Boyce? I thought it'd be nice to go around and talk about that. Kevin, do you want to share?
Well, I'm the blubberer. Cameron was an amazing dancer. And there was always a surprise when they worked his dancing into the show. And he would come with his crew. And he had these 3 guys or 4 guys? Guys, what was it? Was it 4 guys?
4.
And they would like crump and do breakdancing and stuff. And it was really cool. And he would have to do take over take. And they didn't realize, you know, Pam, the creator of the show, texted me last night and said, you have to tell them that every time they did so many takes and he would never get winded. And they would constantly do these takes, and he was always spot on. He was always at a 10. And he was really one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. And just a beautiful soul, an old soul.
You know, Kevin, people watching Kevin and I know each other from the Broadway world. And we have a photo of the Broadway show that we did together where we had some of the cast coming. Look how cute. Just love that. Paige, do you want to share a Cam memory?
Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking of so much in general. I mean, we all did school together every day on set and clean cakes. And I mean, we spent every moment together. And when I think about my high school experience, it was only with these guys. And this was the entire high school. Most people have so many people that, I mean, now I'm friends with some people who went to normal school and they have so many people who they reach out to, and like this is my group. And I feel like, I mean, Cameron was just an amazing soul in person, and I'm so grateful to have such a small group and him be a part of it. And he really did impact my life in an insane way. I mean, he made me such a better person. He would teach me, he was younger than me, and he would teach me something every day. And I mean, he'd be like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you giving into that? Just grow up. And so it's funny, he really, like Kevin said, he really is an old soul, and he taught me so much.
I want to just remind people that he has a foundation. It's the Cameron Boyce Foundation. And what I love is that it's, like Kevin said, it's for spreading kindness, ending gun violence, clean water, and in addition, we advocate for epilepsy awareness. So you can go to CameronBoyceFoundation.org. Karen, what about you?
They also gave money to the Actors Fund.
Yes, that's what's wonderful is that they actually, so we're raising money for the Actors Fund. Cameron Boyce Foundation actually donated money already to the Actors Fund, which is really incredible. That's how much money that they have now that people are giving that they're able to donate to other organizations. Karen, what's your favorite Cameron memory?
I mean, that's really tricky because as cliche as it sounds, like there's so many. But I think my favorite moments with Cam were, you know, we'd spend a lot of our lunches together, like hanging out in our dressing rooms, or anytime we had like breaks, we were always like 2 peas in a pod. And so we were always just hanging out together. But I guess just spending time in our dressing rooms together and just like talking about what we wanted to do in the future. And I guess just figuring life out together, like that we were so close in age that we were both kind of just going through the same experiences and helping each other figure it out. So I think like that's just, any of those, you know, smaller moments are probably my favorite ones with Cam.
Sounds like he was kind of like your real life brother, you know, as well as your TV.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like my parents called him son, and, you know, Libby and Vic, they're like parents to me. And, you know, I'm very privileged that they also call me son. So it's very much like, you know, family between not just like, you know, and that extends outside of our own, you know, parents. Like Peyton, I've known since what, like 10 or 9. Yeah. And I know like Sky and Peyton have known each other even longer than that. So it's like, it's all very much family.
Sky, you were so young, but do you have any memories that you can still recall from back then?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many, but one of my favorites is just meeting Cameron for the first time. Because I remember a week before I met him, I saw him on Dancing with the Stars, and I was just thinking, this boy is just so talented. Like, he's just so good. And then it was for the audition for Jessie for the second time that I went in California. And then I saw him and I was just so excited to meet him. And we just got to talking and he just treated me like one of his own just right away. And it was just an amazing feeling. And yeah, there's just so many memories, but that's just one of my favorite ones. Just the first time I met him and how sweet and loving he was.
Speaking of auditions, Kevin, you sent this photo. Was this the final audition?
Yes. And who were the?
Those two.
There's some kids that weren't cast, unfortunately.
Yes, weren't cast.
Maybe guest stars. So Debbie, you were older. Did you feel like a mother figure to Cam? What was your relationship?
Yeah, I am the youngest in my family. I have an older brother. So being on the set around these guys, it was definitely, and you know, being a producer of the show, there was like a bit of authority, but it really was the first time that I felt like kind of a big sister. But I just kept forgetting that we weren't like friends and all the same age and doing it together. Because it is such a strange sort of pressure cooker that you're in, where you're all trying to make the episode and do the thing. And Cam, I would say, so distinctly, like he could be casually like making a sandwich and would just sing and you'd be blown away. And like he would just be joking and doing a bit and dance, and you would be like, how do you have that control of your body? And so if they give him physical comedy or stunts or sort of vocally, tonally, he could just make everything funnier because he was deeply skilled at the things. And there were times where, of course, when Disney Channel heard Cameron sing, they were like, oh, do that. And I was like, what are you saying? Like, do you want to like we could work on music, we could do stuff? And he was like, no, I like to do it for me, like dancing. No, it's kind of a me thing. And I think he became so aware at such a young age of the fact that people like turn people into heartthrobs and it becomes not about the thing. Mm-hmm. And he cared so much about artistic expression that he wanted to protect it and protect its integrity. And I just always remember really admiring that about his character, and sort of like leaning against what the easy path would be or what the sort of glamorized path would be so that he could have it for real in a way that really impacted people. And I also remember during the third season, my mom was battling cancer and we weren't really vocal about it. We didn't really talk. So I would like go to chemo with her after work and then I would come back and whatever and come to work. And sometimes people would be like, oh, tired, late night, like making jokes or whatever. And I would just be like kind of fragile, but never like shared about it. And it started to be, it was like, you know, we were all sort of older. So the first like season, we were all just scooping each other up and like hugging and like nuggies and like just playing around. And then the little bit older that we got, we all sort of just did our own things, but we were still like hanging and friends. But during that, it was like he had this sense and was aware. And I remember he would just like pursue to come and like give me hugs. And I remember like one time like starting to cry and being like, you're like my younger brother. And he was like, sort of had this like maturity and this comforting. And it was like a two-way street for the first time in a really cool way. And I just will never forget that. Like he's so special.
Sounds very kind.
Also, because him and Klein were such like in cohorts, every once in a while I would see one of them walk up like, hey Dad, how you doing? And I'd be like, the other one's around here doing it. One of you is distracting us. It is hard to see like them in your eyes. You're like, oh.
Okay, by the way, Peyton, I keep thinking you're in a beautiful bathtub. The way it just looks like you're in a legit, right?
Chair, yeah, right.
Right. I'm in my tub. All right, so you know we have a kid that's basically the age range that was watching the show. So
this is why we know Jessie so well, is because when the show went on the air, he was 11. And of course, us being friends with Kevin, we came to the set. I think it was the first season we figured out. And I think you've got a picture there, right? So,
she freaked out.
And all of you, by the way, were so kind to her, having never met. It was such a sweet kindness that was just on the set, just to say.
So this is Julie with you guys back in the day.
Oh my goodness.
Right? She's in Bossy Black. Actually, I'll show you the episode that film that
Yeah,
day.
Julie just told us that it was like the clip that we had happened to be that episode.
Let me try to find it. It is the one where you guys are on the jet. It's this one.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Remember when we crash landed in the jungle and Mr. Kipling made a friend? That friend must have been really friendly.
At least somebody had fun on that trip.
There were some jokes for the day.
How we didn't win an Emmy for that plot twist boggles my mind.
Not fair. All right, so Julie's no longer, she's not 11, and she's in full makeup. She wants to ask you questions.
So I'm
Julie.
going to get out of the picture here so that Julie can take my place, and she knows every episode. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move out.
So,
I wouldn't say I know every episode.
Oh, you saw every episode.
take it down
I
there.
definitely didn't see
Come
every
over.
episode.
I don't even remember every episode.
Hey, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
All right, so
Yeah, so I have a few questions. I just wanted to know, like, going around, what is your favorite episode?
out of 100 episodes, good luck.
Like, which one stands out
Mine,
the most?
mine is I was talking to Debbie about it last night. The Panic Room episode. I think it's so brilliantly written, and there's the kids are locked, are stuck in a panic room, but there's a camera and they can see Debbie and I, and we're rehearsing an audition that she has, but it looks like we're having a love affair. And so all the kids are freaking out that Bertram and Jessie are being romantic with each other. And Cameron had this hysterical bit where you find out that his character plays the accordion. And that was very funny. And then the wonderful JJ Toda, Josie Toda, is also in that episode. I wave out to Josie. And yeah, so Panic Room was really one of my favorite. And of course, I had one where I had a reunion with my boy band, which was
Oh, I remember that one, yeah.
next.
Peyton, what about you in that bathtub?
Oh my gosh. Well, one of my favorite episodes is one where my character decides to sort of just be a complete teenager, and the most stereotypical one, and like dyes her hair purple and gets a fake tattoo and runs away to the Tipton Hotel. And as a kid, I loved Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck, and watched Debbie on that before too. So it was really fun to have, and we had Mr. Mosby, Phil Lewis, come on the show. And for me, that was just so mind-boggling, and everyone was just coming full circle, because before Jessie, that was just because I watched that show, it was my dream to be on Disney. And so it was really cool for that episode was really, really cool. And I also felt we had like a more real sort of moment between like Jessie and Emma in that. And another one of my favorite episodes with Cameron was the salsa dancing episode. Bertram has this salsa dancing competition. He thinks it's a salsa eating competition. And I got to dance with Cameron, and I'm a horrible dancer, so it was fun for me. He worked with me and was so patient with me. He would work with me until like everybody else went home. It was really nice.
I have a clip, Kevin. It's not quite you doing salsa. I don't quite know what the dance step is.
Bertram, you forgot your hammock.
It's not a hammock. It's my bathing suit, which I will wear as I frolic in the crystal blue waters of Mexico. Bum, 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 bum.
You still got it? I want to see that bathing suit on. Karin, what about your favorite episode?
You know what? Mine is probably, it always like switches every time, you know, someone brings up like a different episode, you know, over time. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one that we did. But probably it's this wrestling episode, and it's very early on in season 1. And Cameron, so I think like, I forgot exactly what the storyline was, but Bertram, Kevin was like teaching us how to wrestle. And then Cameron and I ended up having to do like a human wheel, which was just a hilarious, weird thing to learn. But yeah, I think that was my favorite.
We love Bertram. As a matter of fact, Bertram is my favorite character of all time. Just FYI. Scott, what about you?
There's so many, but one of my favorite episodes is our first Halloween episode, and I was like a race car driver. And it's one of my favorites because in that episode, in one of the scenes, like when we're running in the lobby, I hit my head to the wall and got like a huge goose egg. So if you watch like the next scene, the whole episode, I have like this big bump on my head. But it's funny. It's one of my favorite episodes, and it just brings back so many good memories.
That's a fun inside scoop.
Yeah, laugh about it now.
Yeah.
What about, hey, Jessie? What was your
Yeah, if you could just not address me unless you do the jingle first. That would well, okay, there are a couple that come to mind. The Jessie Nader, like the Grudgment Day one, where Bertram's this robot that has taken over, I feel like has aged well. Like it's sort of evergreen in terms of like the robot takeover and technology and sort of put us in cool different worlds. I loved Toy Con. I think that what I'm thinking of like is memorable sets and like spaces that we got to play and be like, what's this? Like Toy Con was really fun and interesting as well. Let's see, Luke quitting Kenny when he has Kenny, his koala, and he's like decides to give him up and sort of like move on and grow from that was like a really heartwarming episode. Gotcha Day was like, I think a really, really special episode. Yeah. Really
Oh, you know, one of my favorites that Debbie directed was a takeoff on the movie Her, where I fall in love with a talking coffee pot.
Yes.
And Debbie directed that brilliantly.
Yeah.
There's one episode my grandpa always calls me and tells me he hates, and that he doesn't know why they keep replaying it. And it's the medieval episode, and I don't know why he hates it. I just thought I'd
special guest star? Want to ask about the?
Oh yeah. So Frank, the lizard, Mr. Kipling or Mr. Kipling, whichever you prefer. How was it like working with him?
Yeah, was she a good actress?
Oh, she's pretty awful. But you know that comes from real life. Is that the trainer didn't know that Frank was his name? Didn't know that Frank was actually a girl.
Oh my gosh!
So that actually was stolen from real life.
I have the clip. Kevin, this is your like backstage footage, right, of Frank?
Yeah.
Here we go, Francesca.
And the infamous Jules, the international expert.
Look,
Yes.
international lizard.
I know.
It was very dense, but it didn't seem to be able to get much traction on the set hardwood linoleum. It would really just sort of swim in place.
It was a very old and very slow lizard. And one thing that I always remember when I think of like working with Frank is that I had to wear steel-toed boots when I was working with Frank, which were just like, for my scrawny little body, incredibly heavy. So it felt like I was just wearing ankle weights most of the time. And what like most people don't know is that sometimes to avoid having to deal with Frank most of the time is we would just get like like those dog walking, like the leashes, like the plastic part, and our special effects put a metal rod in there and painted it red. So most of the time it's just me like carrying around a pair of like wheels at the end of a metal rod. But yeah, that's most of my memories with Frank. Otherwise it's that, and like make sure you stay a foot away from him while like Kevin has to hug this lizard or something.
Oh, they didn't give me any metal braces. It's only the kids.
I was scared of Frank. At first, I was so scared, but then I was like, you know what? I've never seen anything like that before, especially a big lizard. And it was just so crazy. And everyone to this day still asks me if he was real. But no, I mean, she was a great actress, I guess you could say.
Yeah, she did what we needed her to do. And there were also like a couple Franks. We had like a custom mold of Frank that we had made so that it's sort of in a really far off shot, and he's just sitting there. And there's that, but then there's like a little claw in case we need him to open a door or do something. So there's a little bit of puppeteering going on there. But there was one episode. Do you guys remember the episode where it's like the egg restaurant and like Frank, all of the eggs hatch and they like go to it was like how many baby lizards did we have on set? It was like
too many.
Yeah.
It was like 20. I remember it was like a freezing cold stage. It was Debbie and I in like on a cart of some sorts, and then they were just covering us in slime. Yeah. And then Debbie trying to make sure that I didn't die and like didn't fall on slime in the middle of this take. It was a very, and then we had to eventually carry out like 5 baby lizards out of slime. It was a really interesting introduction into acting in sitcoms.
Connor,
it was wild.
I see you're referring to this?
I'll save you, Robbie. I hope my egg is not cracked. Or my spine.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, you pulled that up fast.
She reminded me that I had that clip ready. That was gross.
Oh, do you guys have any like good inside jokes between you guys?
We all hate each other. I think
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Inside jokes. We have individual inside jokes with ourselves. No. I would say, I mean, probably stuff that would come up. Like we had a dinner a couple months ago and like stuff would come up and we started saying things at the same time. And then I like things I had forgotten about. But like there was like little hand clap handshakes or like Adele songs, like random stuff that we would just like do and all sort of do at the same time. Like
we had a director named Bob Coher. Shout out to Bob. I think he's watching right now. Where if you sneeze 3 times, he would give you $20.
That was my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I have allergies.
Yeah.
So I'd be rich.
Wait, I remember Sky. Was it Sky? You faked sneezing 3 times, and Bob could tell that you were faking it, and so you were like, "Okay, I'm gonna make myself really sneeze." So then it was Pepper. Do you remember?
Yeah, pepper up my nose.
Yeah, she put Pepper.
And then I got the $20.
She got $20.
I remember I faked it once too, and my aunt was like babysitting me that week because my parents were out of town, and she was like, "I know you faked it, you little brat," and I was like, "Oh my God," I felt so bad, so I like took the $20 and I went and like put it back on. And then he was like, "No, Peyton, I want you to have it." Bob was such a good person; he still gave me the $20, and it made me feel even worse about myself and guiltier. And he taught me a lesson, not to lie, honestly. So Sky and I both did it.
We both did it.
Big Jesus.
What a weird thing. What was that based on? Did he do that on every show he ever worked on? And anytime
Yeah.
He was.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Odd tradition when I said that.
It had to
Or he would do it if he called you your character name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a favorite guest star?
You had so many, man.
Yeah, a lot.
I would say Michelle Obama is my top one.
Guaranteed Michelle Obama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold on, I think I have a little. Do you mean this first lady?
Yes, that first lady.
Did he actually talk to you guys?
Yeah, she came on. She was super lovely, super warm. She had, you know, her situation with her. It was Secret Service. She had sort of her press secretary, like all of these people that were there that were sort of watching everything. And everyone was, so you think that it's going to be a big deal. We sort of were like all buttoned up and we had never had to go through that amount of security. And then she came on stage and was so unassuming and warm and disarming and like funny and improvised with us and looked everyone in the eye and said hey to everyone's parents and remembered people's names and was so nice to members of our crew that she interacted with one time. She would just remember them. I mean, she is a rock star. Like she's unbelievable.
She loves the theater. And she studied acting and theater in school. And so she was a real natural. And her hug, she gave the best hug. And she smelled so good. I remember it smelling like, oh my God, that's the most expensive, lovely perfume I've ever smelled.
I don't think I've ever stand a person more than I have Michelle Obama. Like after meeting her, I'm like, yeah, I'll die for you. Like that makes sense.
Did you guys call her Michelle?
I accidentally did. That was really bad. Yeah, like you're supposed to like. There's protocol, and like they kind of someone like was just like, hey, heads up, it's Mrs. Obama or Madam First Lady. Like there's just, and I think I personally was so starstruck that when she came over to say hello, I was like, hey, Michelle. And yeah, I wanted to jump off a bridge after that one.
You're allowed. You're a kid. All right, so Julie, peace out. You have your questions
It was
in.
nice meeting you guys.
Hi, Julie.
And just in case you forget what she looked like, pre-makeup, there we go. All right. Kevin, you have donations because people are donating this whole time, which is so great.
Oh my God. You're doing so well, guys.
And these are just some of them, by the way.
Yes, we got Thomas from Virginia gave $25. Patricia from Illinois gave 100. Yeah, Patricia. Susan from New York gave 50. Trisha from Georgia, 50. Oh, we're going all over the state. Elise from New York, 25. Lindsay from New Jersey, my home state, Jersey, gave 50. Marcy from California, all of our $50. Linda from Minnesota, $50. Cynthia from Massachusetts, $50. Thank you so much, guys.
Let's go, you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so keep the donations coming, and James and I are going to take a little break only because we can only fit 6 people on the screen. And you may say, but then who would be replacing us? I'd say perhaps you recognize this person. Please say hello to.
Oh my God!
No. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Not one of your favorite episodes was a Chesterfield episode. No. Not one of your favorite guest stars was me.
You want a guest star.
You want a guest star, your family.
Carolyn. Hi, guys. Hi. Oh, I miss you all so much. And I also got very weepy at that the then and now video, with watching you guys all grow up. Oh.
Because Carolyn, you've been there since the beginning with us. I mean, you've been on that entire roller coaster. I remember like the craziest things. We had a trapeze episode with you because you had casually mentioned the wonderful Carolyn Hennessy. For those of you who don't know her personal life like we do, she does the most insane things in her free time. And she was casually just like, "Oh yeah, I'm a trapeze artist in my free time." And they were like, "Well, let's just put it in the episode." And so like she's had to deal with chihuahuas and trapeze.
Lizards, crazy stuff.
And trapeze and teaching Debbie to tap dance, which I also don't know how to do. So
and hot tubbing and I mean, also I went on my grocery run like 2 days ago and I passed a trapeze place and I thought of you. I didn't know, like I thought, and I was like, I wonder if this is where she used to do it, and we can talk about it. But then I discovered that the place that I passed, which very clearly advertised that it's a trapeze place, is in a strip mall, and it's like pretty short. And
well, that's no. You're talking. I do both. I do the hanging trapeze, which we did on the show.
Yeah,
the flying trapeze, and that's somewhere else. But no, where I hang at the end of my driveway. You guys are all so gorgeous. You have grown up.
Thank you.
Yes. Kevin called me to say, "Hey, be a surprise guest." And he said, it's Bertram Winkle calling. And I went, "Your last name was Winkle?" Rhoda would never have considered becoming Winkle.
Mrs.
Woda Winkle. Oh, her name is Woda Winkle.
Woda Winkle.
Oh, do you remember Lainey Kazan, who played my mother? That was a good one. Oh, Lainey. Bertushka.
I remember Lainey Kazan.
I don't think I wasn't on the set with her then, was I? No,
I don't think so.
No, I've worked with Lainey.
But one of my favorites is when you dressed me in short shorts.
When I dressed you in short shorts.
I was a hot butler.
Was I painting you?
Hot butler.
Yeah.
You had to be my butler, like for the week, day, or something like that. Yes, and I dressed you in short shorts. Well, listen, I would have dressed you in nothing.
If children watching, I love it.
Didn't you guys have to fall into a hot tub too?
Yeah,
Carolyn.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Tiara fell in the hot tub from our balcony onto your balcony, which
is the same balcony.
Yeah,
right. And Zeus, my little Chihuahua, was on a floating pad. I was sunning myself in the hot tub, and then this tiara fell in, and it's like, oh, pennies from heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
I got in trouble. Yeah, that's so funny.
One of my favorite stories is. Oh wait, did we lose Karin? Oh, hilarious. I remember I was in Vancouver, staying at the Sutton place, and I got into the elevator, and you were in the elevator, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Carolyn!" And it took me a second, so I wasn't that excited. I was just like, "Carolyn," and then you're like looking at me across the elevator, and you're like, and then you go, "Hi," and then you just got off.
And then I got off the elevator. Well, my memory.
Because you thought I was a fan. and you thought that I was a fan from your show where people, what was it? You have to explain the show that people didn't like you. I thought your character was not very likable on, and you thought that I was like a creepy soap opera fan.
Honey, that's every show I'm on. That's every show I'm on. People don't like me, or they love me, or they love to hate me. No, I think I probably did. Because had we worked on Jessie at that time?
I think barely though. I think that probably one episode or something.
And my memory for names is non-existent. So that's the same. But my memory for faces is pretty good. So it's like I knew you, but it's like I probably was like, hello.
Yeah. We're in a different country. We're in a different place. And when you see someone out of place, just randomly, you don't sometimes it doesn't connect. I've totally done that before, but it honestly made me laugh for the rest of the day. I was
Carolyn, what is your favorite episode?
Oh gosh. It might be where my hair catches the dew glue, where my hair catches on fire, or the Halloween episode that I was in where I turn into, the demon spawn from hell.
That was a good one.
Which, by the way, when all was said and done, and the show had come down, and they were selling costumes, and I got that costume.
Speaking of dew glue, Carolyn, I have so many fond memories of you, but anytime your name comes up, the only thing I can think about is all of us being trapped on an elevator for 6 hours trying to get a chihuahua to exchange bottles of glue, and Carolyn having to press her butt against my face.
That's right.
You listen, there are people who would pay money.
Very true.
I would pay money. Just for the experience.
Right. I know.
And you ended up being Brooks's mom, right?
Oh yes. The wedding episode.
The wedding.
Those episodes. Yeah, those were he was so beautiful. He was so gorgeous. Yes, there's that outfit.
There you guys are.
That was the wedding, yeah.
The hats. We love the hats. But yeah, no, he was gorgeous.
He's a sweetheart. We are actually still really good friends. We do game nights and stuff together. Him and my real life partner and me, which is ironic.
We were gonna bring him on. Shoot, we didn't.
Yeah, we were gonna bring him on. And he trades stocks, so he's on the stock market this morning until 1.
Well, I'm up for any game night. I am up for any game night. Period.
Cool.
Keep
All
that.
right, I'm getting a message from Seth. We're gonna say goodbye, Carolyn. Oh, but any final words?
Just that it's the fondest memory I have in my acting career at this point, and you all have just surpassed my expectations of being spectacular human beings. So
we love you so much.
Love you so much.
Thank you.
Love you, Carolyn.
Bye.
That was so sweet.
That was so sweet.
I know, that was a great surprise.
Oh, Kevin. So Debbie sent these great photos. Debbie, I'm going to show them, and you describe what they are.
Sorry, Kevin.
Oh, it's very weird. So what is that?
That's me on top of the elevator. So the elevator, as you know, everything's on one level. It's a soundstage. It's a very tall soundstage that we can build up. We obviously just can't build down. So the elevator is stationary. But above it, we can create sort of an elevator chute. And we had an episode which Karin, I think, reminded me didn't air or this gag at least didn't air.
Yeah.
But where he and I are in the elevator and he's on my shoulders and we have to go up through the chute or something. And I'm on wires and he's on wires or something. So there I am standing on top of the elevator. And that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Nerve-wracking. And then this. Oh, that's it.
There he is.
But that's the same one. Okay.
I will say the great thing about our writers, if any of them are watching them, is that for all the outlandish stuff that they wrote for Debbie to do, they were like, yeah, you can do that in 6-inch heels, right? Like, that's cool, right?
Yes. She can do anything in heels.
Yeah. And now if I do exercise, I can only do it in heels.
That reminds me, we had some really funny standards and practices things. We had an episode where a cricket, one of the cricket players in the feed to Mrs. Kipling, is on the edge of a pot of chili, and it dives into my pot of chili. And the line was, "Oh, he must have been depressed." And we got a note back from Standards and Practices saying, "You can't imply that an insect is suicidal."
Because the insect union spoke up?
That was the weird.
We had the Humane Society there for a spider episode to make sure that the spiders were not harmed.
That's sweet and weird.
And what was another S&P? Oh, the famous gluten incident. Sky, do you want to tell that?
Yeah, the gluten episode. Was it who threw the pancake at Josie? I forgot.
Yeah, I think
it was me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was me. And I guess like some mom wrote in saying like you can't throw pancakes at a child, gluten this, gluten that.
He had a line that said, don't throw pancakes at me, I'm gluten intolerant.
Yeah. And Chelsea was never like brought onto her show because so many parents were outraged. Oh, another one was the character Creepy Connie. People got upset that we called a girl Connie creepy because girls with Connie, the name Connie across the country, were getting bullied at school being called Connie. So we didn't even realize what kind of effect certain things had.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, because I think that we are at least mindful of it. And in all of our meetings when we're breaking stories and stuff, when we're deciding to create a character who's like unlikable, you don't use very common name. Like you're not going to make a Connie, like you're going to try to minimize the outfall by like having someone with maybe a more specific name. And then somehow we still got the Connies bullied, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. That was our plan all along. We created a TV show to bully the Connies.
My middle name is Connie.
There are.
There's another picture. This is you, I guess, with the audience? I can't quite tell.
Oh, Cameron and I are doing a bit on the phone. I think this was maybe one of the ones where he and I were in a car. It was maybe a fantasy sequence. I don't remember actually, but like, yeah, we're like in a car or something and we're on the phone. And that might've been us like talking to Standards and Practices or talking to someone at Disney Channel and being like, can we just do this joke? Like, can we just try it? Like that might've been one of those things where we were just like, let's talk to her. But yeah, Cameron, like, I just think it's so funny. Like, Cameron in a little suit and then me like in a hot pink dress and us like at Video Village and the people who are actually making the decisions are in jeans and t-shirts and we're like dressed up like business guys.
Like little adults. You did have so much physical comedy in those heels. I was just here, check this out. Did that hurt?
No. I learned at a young age how to take a fall and not get hurt.
We were also abused on that show.
Yeah. If you said, I'm not comfortable doing this, they would totally work around it. But I think that when you're, first of all, I was comfortable doing it. I was like, let's go. I like climbed trees as a kid. I had a big brother. I wrestle. I did gymnastics and stuff. So for me, it was really exciting and took fight training. That was fun for me. But it definitely gets to the point where they just kind of write things in. They're like, you're good doing that, right? And you sort of at some point have to be like, wait, you realize like you're asking a kid to like car in on the cart and the egg thing, or like the girls had gags that they were doing that was like, of course, the older you get, the more that you're showing off your physical comedy and finding your voice, the more that they're writing to it, which is exciting. But there definitely has to be a point at which you're like, I'm not going to 15 times like throw myself over the back of a couch. Like
I had a dunk tank episode where there was about 4 feet of water for my big frame, and I went down and broke my big toe. Bertram got really abused by all the liquids and the food products getting hit. I was covered in salsa at one point, which is not very pleasant. But it was awful comedy.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, the one time that I like really almost drew the line was one of Debbie's episodes that she was directing, and I had to be like really depressed and like eating pork rinds, but the smell of pork rinds made me want to puke, and I had to be covered in them. And I think that was the one time I was like, Debbie, I can't do it. And then she was like, it's okay, it'll just be one take, I promise.
I remember they wanted to eat a raw pickled pig's foot, and they were like, no, it can't be chicken, it has to be that. And I wanted to throw up. That was the worst thing I've ever done. It had like the toenail on it and everything. I couldn't.
So now, one of the episodes I wanted to talk about, because people to this day always come up to me, and it's the body switching episode. And I was so mortified to have to do Karen's accent. And it was just, we were all sort of terrified. It was really a big acting challenge because we all had to act like one another.
Right.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was actually, it was harder than I expected. It was a really
definitely. And I think it's hard to separate like what someone's personality is from their voice. So it's like, I know Karen, and I've only known Karen this way, right? And I know Sky, and I only know her this way. But then it's like Sky as Zuri, minus Sky's body and like the way that she speaks. But then add that into me and subtract Jessie. Like that's what it's like.
Oh, guys, we have lots more donations. We're ready to hear a lot of money. Jordan from Hawaii, $25. Michael from Ohio, $25. Jake from Florida, $50. Christy from Texas, $25. Lee from Arizona, $25. Craig from Missouri, $250.
Craig, I'm also going to link my Wire account.
Yeah. Go right there. We know someone wrote in named Chloe Michaels. Someone can answer this. Who do you think is most like their character and who is most unlike their character?
Wow.
Ooh.
It's funny because I think those characters belong so much in the age in which they were.
Yeah.
So it sort of is like at the time, maybe we can answer like who was most at their character or is most like with their character at the time.
I was. Yeah.
You were the most
precocious.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about Sky is like even though you had to like have these imaginary friends throughout like season 1, it was still this very like mature person. So it's like it was very amusing watching you jump in and out of those scenes and like be just kind of this adult in a child's body and having to do these scenes where you're like, oh, so what's the line, and then jump back into pretending to have imaginary friends.
Right.
It's also interesting because she would be like she had this really smart EQ, so she would be like emotionally advocating for like better communication for her mermaid. She would be like, she just needs to know it. You know what I mean? It was like that juxtaposition is very good.
I have a question for everyone but Kevin. So when you guys started the show, did you know Kevin's like theater background and musical theater background? Like, what did you know about him?
No, I didn't at all.
Well, we knew it once we were done with the show. Let me tell you, Kevin taught us so much. I feel like it was always singing, and then like everyone was saying, whenever the writers found out you had a talent, they would just write it into the show. And so I feel like we were always hearing Kevin sing on the show, which added so much to Bertram.
Yeah.
There's one scene where we were all hungry on a ship, and I had to eat a leather couch because there was no food.
Oh my God.
We were licking a leather couch, eating, and going, I'm a 3-time Tony nominee. Licking a couch.
Yeah. I remember, it came to me later, which was like people would come up and be starstruck. And like before then, people would ask me about like Dylan and Cole, who I'd worked with on Fruit Life, and be starstruck by that. But with Jessie hit, people would be like, how is Kevin Chamberlain? And it would be people who, like, I know from the industry and people who are big theater guys, and they just were aware, and it made me aware, being like, oh, should I be freaking out? Like, yeah.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. And
what I always say, these guys taught me more than any theater job I've ever had. It taught me how to be more free as an actor, and that finding that child inside me again. And it was the most challenging job of my career. It really was.
A lot of episodes. Well, I want to talk about that for 1 second, but before I do, Peyton, I have a bone to pick with you. You know, I have a radio show, and my signature expression is something is amazing, and I'm known as the amazing Sekudetsky, and I notice it's a bit of kind of plagiarism, but the kind where you can't really be sued. And let's just watch, shall we?
I came to apologize. I should have just been happy for you, but instead, I was jealous and pretty.
You mean petty?
That too. Look, I know you gave me credit for your style, and that was really nice of you. But the truth is, you have a great style of your own, and you deserve to be the New York It Girl.
You really think so?
Absolutely. You are amazing!
God, there was this whoever the magazine editor was, I think her name might have been Whitney, but maybe I'm wrong. She would say amazing or whatever, and so they had me just mimicking how she was doing it the whole episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Peyton, I'm going to see you in court.
But you know, when this is all over, I'll be there.
Kevin, talk about your cry/laugh, which to me is tip of the hat to the 1930s.
The Burt Lahr.
Yeah, so I am a huge Burt Lahr, Wizard of Oz, Cowardly Lion fan, and I played the Cowardly Lion when I was in high school, and we share that role, Seth and I.
Yes, I was in 4th grade when I did it. He was in high school.
And so I would, I decided whenever Bertram, got hit by some liquid or something horrible happened, I would do the Burt Lahr. And I remember a kid coming up to me and he goes, I just saw the Wizard of Oz and the Cowardly Lion stole your cry. I'm a little younger than.
They'll see you in court. Okay, so for all you musical theater fans, I sent a piano recording for Kevin Chamberlain so Kevin can recreate his Burt Lahr high school performance.
This is a surprise for everyone. All right.
You want me to be Dorothy, right?
What?
You want me to be Dorothy?
Yes, you have your lines?
Yes.
All right, ready? I, what a king, you're the first, not queen, not duke, not prince. My regal robes, you're the first, satin, not cotton, not chintz. I'd command each thing, be it fish or fowl, with a woof and a woof and a royal growl. Woof! To kick my heels, all the trees would kneel, and the mountains bow, and the bulls kowtow, and the sparrow would take a wing. Fly, what king? Each rabbit would show respect at me, the chipmunk genuflect at me. My tail would lash, I would show compassion for every underling. Fly, oh, a king, I'm just a king. Seth.
Your Majesty, if you were a king, you wouldn't be afraid of anything.
Not nobody, not no how.
Not even a rhinoceros?
Impossible.
How about a hippopotamus?
I'd thrash him from top to bottom.
Suppose you met an elephant.
I'd wrap him up in cellophane.
What if it were a brontosaurus?
I'd show him who's king of the forest.
How?
How? Courage. What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes a flag on the mast to wave? Courage. What makes the elephant guard his tusk in the misty mist, the dusky dusk? What makes the muskrat guard his musk? Courage. What makes the Sphinx the seventh wonder? Courage. What makes the dawn of the black thunder? Courage. What makes the Hottentot so hot? What put the ape in apricot? What do they got that I ain't got?
Courage.
You can say that again. For courage is the thing of kings. With courage, I'll be king of kings. And all year round, I'll be hailed and crowned by every living thing. Fly, what
All I could think about was the people that are joining in the middle of your song and just singing.
Steph begged me to do it.
Ah, my God, it's so good.
That was so good. And then I went to go see Kevin in Little Shop of Horrors, and you were amazing in that too.
Oh, that was so sweet of you, Sky. That was a really fun production.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so good. And I saw you in Wicked when you were on Broadway for Wicked too.
Oh right, yes, and Cam and Karn came to that as well. Well,
Thank you,
Steph, for all of the what? What
I
does?
guess I'm the only person who doesn't go to New York.
Well, I hope we all get to do a play, or maybe a reunion again someday.
Ooh, a reboot.
Yeah, there you go.
Before we
Or
go,
you know what, you guys, there's a play because we're doing our play series for the Actors Fund. So Kevin, if you want to find a play,
all right,
we're doing that on Wednesday and Saturday afternoons.
Yeah, how is it? I just want to check in. Everyone, how is everyone in their isolation and how's everyone doing? On that?
I mean, it's boring, but it's pretty good. I've just been staying inside, only going outside for like the necessary to go to the supermarket or walk my dog. But it's actually been peaceful, and I've been doing things that I probably wouldn't have done if I just didn't have the time to stay home and learning and reading and doing all these things. So it's been pretty good.
What about you?
Oh,
me? Oh, yeah, basically the same thing. I mean, I've just been, luckily my family, I've been able to have dinners with them, and we've all kind of been in quarantine together. And then I have a twin brother, so it was nice to have someone celebrate our birthday together.
Happy birthday!
Oh,
happy birthday to Sky!
Yes.
Yay! Sky Coogan account. Yeah.
Too funny.
Do you want to explain that to the viewers?
Yeah, so a Coogan account is basically money that we were not able to touch for a long, long time. That kind of piles up and it saves into a little bank account, and then you finally get it when you're 18.
Yeah, because Jackie Coogan, who was a young child actor, his parents absconded with all of his money. And so he went to the union and said every child should have an account where money is put aside when they turn 18.
Yeah. Now you got it, girl.
Now she got
There's
it.
a photo I want to show, a final photo that Debbie sent. The final episode for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That one was like that episode. I think the most emotional I've got is the last episode and also the wedding episode for Jessie. Because actually, a lot of fans don't know this, but the first time when Debbie walked down the stairs, no one had seen Debbie in her wedding dress. So that's actually like all our live reaction. So she like snuck in behind stage with wardrobe, and they got her up the stairs. And so they want to roll on us actually doing that. And yeah, that last scene was a tearjerker, kid.
It really was. I mean, I think your face, it's interesting to be having this conversation in isolation. as we're all sort of, because it is sort of cyclical, right, in life, that there are times where you settle into things and you find things, and then the systems that are in place sort of get uprooted, and change is scary and unpredictability is scary, and you don't know for how long, and all you know is that you'll never have that version of things again, right? So when this is over and we all kind of break our quarantines and go out into the world that we go out into is going to be a different world than the world that we came in from. It's going to be different economically. It's going to be different in terms of priorities and social structures, how we interact. We're learning we can do a lot of things online. I'm learning I can have a game night with my friends from Australia and my friends from down the block on the same time. And, money priorities and jobs and where we give our attention and our love. I think like all of these things become that. And Jessie ending to me was sort of a first wave of that. It was like, I don't know what the rest of this is going to look like. All I know is that there's a ribbon being tied on this very incredibly special experience that really like is so deeply ingrained in me and in everything, like my mind, my coming of age, my adolescence, me as a creative, me as a boss, me as like an employee, like everything was so tied into that, and creating like familyship with you guys and us going through the tricky things together, us like learning communication together, how to learn and do things with people that are completely, like everyone's completely different. There was so much growth that happened there, and it was so special and lovely. And the lessons that I learned on that, I take with me, and I see them show up in my life and in my relationships and in my work. And to know that it was ending was so, we felt the weight of that on that day, I think.
Definitely did. We're also, one of the things that I've been dealing with is being so far away from New York, and so many friends are dealing with this virus. It's hit the Broadway community so hard, and because all of those theaters are so they're little petri dishes.
Yeah,
everyone is on top of each other, and whole shows have been tested positive. So it's really, really a scary time for Broadway, and I'm concerned. And I want, when this is starting to get over, I want people to go back to Broadway, and we have to be able to trust that we can all go back into a theater so that we can hear new stories. And there will probably be stories about this. In fact, a friend of mine just wrote a play that takes place on Zoom, and she performed it last week. And she's a university professor, Nancy Bell. She runs a theater program at St. Louis University. And it was a faculty meeting. It was a play that takes place at a faculty meeting on Zoom. And it goes to this absurd place where stuff's happening off the screen. And it was the most exciting new format of theater that I'd ever seen. So these wonderful things are coming up out of this bizarre time we're living in.
Wow. Well, we want you guys back for a play. So, Kevin, you're going to be in charge of that, finding a play for these clowns to all be in together. You guys, so much love from the fans, so many great comments. Thank you all for coming today. Thanks for all the donations.
Yeah, all the donations. Amazing.
The update is...
Were you going to say something?
No, I was just saying thank
you. You're like,
so sweet.
So tonight we have the great Anna Gasteyer from Saturday Night Live and Wicked. Tomorrow afternoon we have a full play, Buddy Mears.
With the whole original Off-Broadway cast, Kevin.
Yes.
You saw that. It was very excited. And then tomorrow night is Kristen Chenoweth. And
every Saturday night.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of surprises for tomorrow night in store.
Stay tuned. Thank you. Hey, Jessie. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jessie. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.